should be us live. Should be us live. In fact, I'm pretty sure I see it on Twitch. There it is. There it is.
Live.
Hello.
So, hello world. We've got about 8 minutes of just bullshitting before the show starts, and we're gonna do that now.
We wanted to spend it with you.
Yeah.
Yes, we can't theorize as much now that Jason's back.
I really enjoyed watching y'all theorize, by the way. That was a lot of fun.
Watching us all be wrong.
Did you get any pointers? Were you like, that's a good one?
No, I just really enjoyed it. Honestly, I just really enjoyed. I enjoyed hearing y'all chat. Like I thought it was. I thought it was super nice, and I liked it a lot. So, thank y'all for doing that.
Aww.
Nice. I miss being in the big box.
Yeah. So this is our first stream where we're not also live on YouTube. So we're no longer going live on YouTube.
Well,
so
it will be available there tomorrow.
There's a good reason for that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So we are now officially a Twitch affiliate.
Yeah.
So we've got like a subscribe thing, so you can subscribe to it. I realized that I don't know how to do the Amazon account subscribe thing, so I'm going to figure that out. I'm also going to subscribe to the show here soon. But yeah, that's a thing that folks can now do.
A Twitch
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, give us Jeff Bezos' money if you have an Amazon account.
Please.
You can tell Jeff Bezos to give us a couple dollars.
Do you think
he has some to spare?
Yeah. It's an investment.
I don't know, if he doesn't have all of our money, how can he create jobs? You know.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring us down a road there.
But we're down it now.
Please. Yeah.
But we'll have cool emojis and figure out what all the little perks are of being affiliates. So that'll be cool.
Yes.
That's very cool.
Yeah. All right. So I'm really ready for y'all to kick some Wyvern butt. I'm really excited. I can't wait.
Continue kicking Wyvern butt.
Continue kicking Wyvern butt. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And I'm excited for the caravan to get going too. I was checking through my notes. And it's a lot of fun. And I rewatched our episode.
I did too. Like this morning.
I had to figure out what was going on.
It was so good. I'm still in shock over what Soleil did.
That was so
I relived
good.
the shock. I relived the shock. I was like shocked again. I was like,
This is good. There will be more. He's a loose cannon.
yeah.
Yeah, to say the least.
Is that like a common theme, maybe, with your characters? I don't know.
It's a common theme in the way I play D&D. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, like that's like
drive your
that's the
character
fun way
like
to
a
go.
stolen car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Gosh,
Drive
how
your
do you
character
know
like a
how
stolen
to
car.
drive a stolen car.
That's a line from Blades in the Dark, the player's
yeah.
handbook.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
come up with that,
Nice.
but the tip is to drive your character like a stolen car, and it's a way to play any game. Let's be honest.
Yeah, right. Like really just have fun with it. Right. It's kind of the core concept.
Oh, damn. Soleil doesn't have a social insurance number.
He must have a fake one on those fake papers they have.
Nothing even.
Ooh.
I don't
That's
even
a-
think he's got fake papers.
I was gonna say, I think when you check, you'll find that y'all don't have fake papers.
Oh,
We don't have
no.
fake papers.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. That's real bad.
I'm
Who's
very
gonna
excited about
check?
that also.
The whole point is no one's going to check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I think you're supposed to do like
Let's go with that.
flick the water.
Yeah.
Throw salt over your shoulder.
So yeah, all of that.
Yeah. I got some wood to knock on. Yup.
Yeah.
Technically, if Zagrin and Silius are really nice to Essie and Kit, I think each one of us could turn one of you invisible.
I can turn
Hmm.
myself invisible.
Oh,
Oh.
we're gonna be the invisible party.
Yep, I will not.
Uh,
I'm very good at sneaking in the shadows, though. That's just one saving grace. What is that over there? What?
it's not
Huh?
subtlety, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry I missed. I was gonna say I'm sorry I missed last week, but I did watch from the pool in Mexico.
way to make us all jealous.
Buy this
Jason.
from a bar.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
He had to temporarily leave the country. We're not allowed to talk about it. But
Yeah.
Might
he's
involve a
back. That's what
stolen
matters.
Laying low, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm. They traced him through his D&D campaign.
Oh.
What good
That would otherwise
promotion,
be
though.
so subtle.
Yeah.
All right, actually, I'm gonna
No
fill up
such
my
thing as
water
bad
while
luck.
DM
we're still
leaves
chatting.
the
So
country.
Mhm.
be right back, folks.
Uh,
Will he make it back?
Quick, he left the box. Do something.
Jump in the box.
Get in the bigger box.
Yeah, someone get in there.
oh, that's funny.
The thing is it really bigger? Like, I don't know. It seems like
It's all the same
volume-wise,
size.
it's almost the same size.
Mhm. I
Now
think
that
it's
our
just a
boxes
little
are
bit.
a little bigger. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If we start getting up to
Overrated.
6 people, then it starts getting
Small.
tiny, cramped.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Mike, you know, right? Like you know how big it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what? It isn't. It is not the exact dimensions now that I'm looking at it. So it's a little
It is
off.
not.
So yeah, I do have the bigger box because I've got all these books I need to fit in. So
Oh man.
Overlays. Here we are. Here's the overlays.
oh, Mike's checking.
The real professional among
Yeah.
us. We're all just the
might be the
eyeballers.
same size. Mhm. I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Nice.
Oh, important question. I don't know if I should be asking this while we're live, but do we have that periaptive wound closure?
Sure. Yeah. Why
Okay.
not?
So I would have that.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay.
Whichever one of you took it. Yeah. Absolutely.
After the events of the prequel, I think Essie
Yeah.
definitely.
You earned
was
it.
like,
Yeah.
You need this kit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
DM box is slightly bigger.
Yes.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Mike has spoken.
Slightly bigger.
All right. Well, it's 2:00. Y'all ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Nice. Okay. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Heroes Die Show. We are the cast of Heroes Die, and today you're here for episode 6 of the Best Left Buried campaign. I'm Jason. I'm your game master, and we're joined by our awesome cast, who I'm going to start with on my left. Whatever.
I think it's-
With Taya. Go ahead, Taya.
Yeah.
I'm Taya. I'm going to be playing Elspeth or Essie Pike. She is a level 4 artificer.
I am Paula. I am playing Kit, and she is a little rogue thief.
Hello, I'm Josh, and I'll be playing Zagrin Beltune, also known as Dalen occasionally, and he's a Hexblade Warlock.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'll be playing Silius, the Shadow Monk, aka Dennis.
I absolutely love that. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, before we get too far, we just want to make some announcements. To start with, if you're catching it, this is our first stream as Twitch affiliates, which we're excited about. So sorry if you're running into ads. Our apologies, but hopefully you enjoy the show. If you're watching this and you decide that you like what we're doing, you can catch us on YouTube. You can hit the little follow button down underneath the Twitch screen. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all at Heroes Die Show.
Yes.
Yep. You can find us on YouTube, YouTube/@HeroesDieShow. And I believe all the links are down further down than this, but just keep looking down, maybe off to that side. You'll see all the stuff you need to see about where to find us on social media. Other than that, you can find our things on thank you, Paula. We have a little merch store where you can get awesome Heroes Die mugs so you can drink your tea. I'm out of chamomile and I'm not allowed caffeine in the afternoons anymore, so I'm out of luck tea-wise.
Quick,
So
send
I'm
him
just
some
drinking water.
chamomile.
Well, I'm going to the grocery store later today, so I
Okay,
will
good.
have that solved for next episode. So you can find us. There's a link to the shop also down below. You can find us on Patreon. So we've released some content on Patreon. So we have some fun. We have a fun one-shot system that actually was made by Josh. Thank you, Josh, for that. That has some modules in it for really silly shenanigans. And you can catch all of our past episodes over on YouTube. I think that's most what I have for announcements. Is that about right?
Join us in Discord.
Yes.
Link is in
right.
the chat.
Yeah, so we have a Discord. We'd love to chat with you and hear from you as we go, right? Because it's a great place to just get in contact. You can also see when there are episodes with things happening that are, important to play through, but also kind of boring to watch, like shopping, like talking through stuff that happens in like the skip areas. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in Discord, and you can follow along with that there. And if you have questions for me as the game master, I'm happy to talk to you there also about general game master things. And I think that's it for announcements. Now I'm
I
good.
think for real that time.
Yes. Awesome. I want to say thank you to some folks. I want to say thank you, one, to all of you for watching. It's really cool. It feels really good to have folks watch our show and hopefully enjoy what we're doing. And yeah, I know it means a lot to me personally. I'm sure that's true for everybody else. We also want to say thank you to Mike for doing all the awesome artwork that you see here. So thank you, Mike.
Woo.
This is killer and I love it.
Thank
Want to say thank you to Andrew, who's not here, who did our cool intro video, which you're going to get to see in just a second, and Paula, right? And also thanks, Paula, for all your great work on the videos, because we're going to do a break video and the intro video. A lot of that comes from Paula and really great, and Josh, actually. So really, it's a whole team effort. And definitely want to say thanks to the folks at Tabletop Audio. We play audio during the streams, and we use the Tabletop Audio stuff to do it. I think it's really cool. If you get a chance, tabletopaudio.com, lots of free, cool stuff to use during your games. And is that it for thanks?
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to go to the intro video, and then we're going to come back and do a quick recap, and we'll see you in just a second. All right, bye, folks.
Ah, old friend,
Catch on
you're
with
here
it.
again. So glad you could stop by. Come, sit a while and let's begin. The tale of heroes die. In distant lands are stories made with villains most despised. A tale of magic, strength, and blade, of camaraderie and lies. It's one I know quite well, you see. Perhaps you'll find out why. The legends and the histories remember. Heroes die.
All right, and we're back. Okay. So with that, thanks for waiting through that. Let's talk about where we're at and what's going on. So last time, I believe we started with y'all here at the Crossroads. So we are playing in the world of Wildmount, which is a D&D campaign setting written by the folks at Wizards of the Coast and the people at Critical Role. So awesome, a lot of fun. So we're here at a place called the Amber Crossroads within the Dwendalian Empire, and our team is met up because they are planning to take a caravan, the same caravan from here at the Crossroads up through Eurosa and finally on to Icehaven. And there they will go from Icehaven up to Palebank Village in the far north and begin the journey of, beginning to discover some artifacts and dig up relics from the far frozen north, specifically this old set of ruins that have been discovered on the continent of Eisslecross. So that's where we're at today. Last time when we met, our heroes met for the first time. So Zagrin and Seleas have been traveling together separately, and Kit and Essie have been traveling together. They met. They had some, I thought, really awesome interactions. We had an incident where some guards came rolling through, potentially looking for Zagrin and Seleas. Seleas lured them away, cleverly and absolutely fucking wildly lured them away. You had some interactions. You met a new friend. We met Calamity Wanderfoot, a halfling who seems to be a fan of Essie's and is interested in coming along. And that's most of what I remember. Is there anything I'm missing? Oh, right. As we were getting ready to end our session, 2 wyverns swooped down out of the sky and attacked the crossroads. One of them seems to be grabbing a cow and trying to fly away, while the other has come in and was attacking a group of people that were playing in this pond. And thanks to the heroic actions of Seleas, Zagrin, and Essie, is now redirected and is attacking Essie and has left the innocents alone. Does that all sound right, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, so we resume in the midst of the action. Right in the middle of the action, where the wyvern has landed in front of Essie. It has reared up and is getting ready to bite down, and it's the wyvern's turn. So we resume. Now, can we hear some music? There we go. All right.
It is.
The wyvern rears up and it attempts to bite down on you, Essie.
All right, bring it.
So that is a 22.
Yep, that hits.
So as you're there, you've been shooting, you're scoped in on one knee, it comes down and it bites at you and is able to grab your arm and its teeth tear a little cut through your flesh, and you take 11 points of piercing damage.
Right.
It also, as it raises up, it bites, pulls away, and you think you're safe for a minute, but instead this tail with this brutal scorpion stinger slides around to the side and cuts at you. Does a 16 hit?
No, it does not. She's just gonna duck out of the way.
Yeah, so you duck just in time as this tail whips over your head. You can see the tail has a barb and a stinger at the end that is just dripping some kind of dark foul liquid, almost as if it is full of poison ready to spit out. So that's the wyvern. And
awful jerk.
We go to Calamity. So Calamity, I believe, was helping Kit get the children to safety. So Calamity's going to continue with that, and she gets the kids that she's able to get the rest of the children off to safety. Kit, you are free to act on your next turn. Zagrin, you're up.
Which of the wyverns look more wounded?
The one that is right near, so about 10 feet from you, 15 feet from you, is certainly looking pretty wounded. It's been shot a number of times by Essie and done some really good damage to it.
Okay, Zagrin is going to cast Eldritch Blast at the wyvern that's closest to Essie. So he whips Liramnor and a bolt shoots out. Does a 16 hit,
It does, yes.
and it collides for 15 force damage.
Nice. Yeah. So you impact the shot flies out, impacts solidly into this wyvern, hitting it in the chest as it leans up, or as it rears up from its bite, and you get it a good one. It's looking very rough. Is there anything else for you, Zagrin? Oh, sorry.
For my bonus action, seeing it collide, kind of still mid-swing, Zagrin keeps turning around till he's facing the other wyvern, and he once again kind of gives a flick of Liramnor as he's going to cast Hex on the further wyvern.
Okay, great. So it is got a cow, and it's about 10 feet up in the air.
Okay, I have a 90-foot range, so I
Great.
think I should.
Yeah, no problem at all. All
And
right,
that's my turn.
Kit.
Whew. Okay, so the kids are safe.
Calamity has now moved them under one of the carts. She's now moved them under one of the carts, and she's beginning to turn and look.
Okay,
She's back.
I'm just gonna look back, make sure that they are safe, and gonna just give her a look and a nod. And let's see. So this is the wyvern. There's two wyverns. One is engaged with a cow. Is that?
Yes, one is dragging a cow away, presumably to go eat
And
it or
that's
something.
that's this one here. Correct?
Yes,
Okay. And this one is the one that's engaged with Essie.
absolutely.
So Kit will run forward to about here.
Okay.
Just a few feet so that she's a little bit closer. She's going to she's going to pull out her crossbow, and she's going to attack this one that's next to Essie. And that is an 18 to hit.
Okay, that hits. So they're 13 to hit.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna roll there. That's an 8 damage.
Okay. So your
And-
crossbow takes it and sinks into the thing. It is now looking. You can hear it roar once again, and it's starting to look a little panicked.
Is there any cover at all nearby?
Near where you are, so you have to run out into the middle. I'm sorry, Slayus. You have to run out into the middle of the area to take your shot. So not a ton. Although you could run back, dash back towards the wagons, and you could slide under a wagon. And Slayus, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, there's like a mysterious black dome around
Yeah.
where I'm standing.
There's a globe of darkness in the pool, or where the pool was. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. That is here? No,
Down
sorry.
here,
Over here.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah,
a little
yes.
far for me to go.
just down below where the wyvern is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will dash back and try to hide under the wagon. Is that here, back here next to
Yes.
Calamity?
Calamity.
Okay. That's what I'll do.
Okay. Essie, you go.
As it chomps down on like her arm, she's gonna grunt a little bit, and then this almost like shadowy substance is going to whirl like down her arm, and anyone close, it's gonna like almost look like claws of darkness, and she's just gonna like rake at the inside of its mouth as it bites her, and I'm gonna cast Inflict Wounds. It's an 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
Ooh, that's really good. 20 points of necrotic damage. She just like screams and does that.
So the wyvern, as you touch it, the wyvern begins to cry out, but like the breath almost fails it as it goes, and the sound goes from the beginning of a to a as its lungs seem to almost stop working. It's feeling hurt. You can see rot and lines of dark blood congealing under its skin from where you touch it. It's looking really rough.
And then as my bonus action, I know I'm going to be at disadvantage at this, but she's going to like get her musket up with the little device on it, and she's going to use her force ballista to make a second shot. That's a 12, which I don't think hits.
Nope.
Okay, so that just tings off, and she's gonna stay. She's just gonna like kind of ready herself.
Elias, where are we at?
I'm gonna go to the edge of this my dark sphere there,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically where I'm standing. I'm gonna activate. He's gonna like silently whisper something to himself, and his tattoos, if you could see them, are gonna just elongate a little bit. And he's going to give himself his Eldritch Claw tattoo. He's going to activate his Eldritch Claw tattoo and strike at this thing from 15 feet away.
Nice.
He just doesn't want Essie to outdo him with claws. Are they having a?
Yeah. Well, I've never seen anything like that.
So
before,
these
pretty funky.
projected shadow fists fly out from the darkness and strike at the wyvern. Let's see what you get.
Exactly. 16.
It's a hit.
So that is going to be 1d8 plus 1. Give me a second. Where's my 1d8? There it is. 7 plus a d6. 13 points of damage.
13 points of damage. Do you want to describe to me how you end this wyvern's life?
Yeah, with a sharp blow to the side of the head that seems to be like, it's like reeling in pain from Essie's claw attack, and then out of nowhere, just gets like its head jolts to the side as this like black tentacly fist comes out and goes from the darkness, from the shadow.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it
I'd
falls
be really
down.
impressed if I could see it.
It falls down. It falls down dead. Right there in front of you, Essie.
Okay, and
alright.
that is, hold on. So I still have my movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For some reason, I can't seem to grab my character because this little black square keeps showing
No
up
worries.
over it.
Better?
There we go. Yes, please. So this wyvern. Yes, I'm gonna run up to there. And one more, I think. I can move up 5 more. Yeah. And I'm going to use my flurry of blows to strike it 2 more times. Unhand that cow, you fiend! Yeah, so I leap from this shadowy, inky darkness. Yes, that's a hit. 15 plus 8. And a 16 plus 8. 2 hits.
Those both hit.
Yeah. And let me see. Here we go. Because I have my bow staff in my hand, so it's 2-handed.
You're using your fancy long range punches, right?
which could also be transmitted through melee.
Okay.
My
Okay,
melee
sure.
staff attack. Okay, this is going to be a.
Is the darkness centered around
9.
Silius? Like
No, it
moves
was
with
centered
him?
around the pond.
Okay.
I could put it on me, but I wasn't thinking earlier. So 9 points of damage for the first strike.
Okay.
5, 10, 16 for the second one.
Okay. All right. So you crack it a couple times solidly. So
Does it let go of the cow?
I
That
was
is
just
our
thinking.
cow.
I was just thinking about it. Yes. So the cow drops from 10 feet in the air as this wyvern hisses. It does slash out at you with its tail, Mike. So its tail tries to sting you. So that is a 19. The 19 hit. Oh, I think we lost Mike for a minute. We'll come back to that. The tail, I think, lashes out and hits Silius. Oh yeah, it should. And as it sinks into Silius, the thing begins flying away. Right, it drops the cow, stings Silius, and then just starts absolutely rapid fire flying away as it decides to get the absolute heck out of dodge. Sound good? So okay. I think all right. Yeah, I think that actually wraps our little
Are we out of combat?
combat.
It's
Um,
greater than 120 feet away
It
from
will
you?
it moves 100 feet this round, and
Oh,
it moves
man.
like 100 feet per round, and it's flying.
Thing is
Um,
fast.
Yeah, the thing is absolutely pretty fast.
As Essie stands there, like that shadowy substance that created that like claw-like, part of it just like almost drips off of like her hand, and then part of it seems to like recede back up her arm for a moment as she just kind of like stares down at it and like shakes her hand a little bit.
As soon as Kit sees the wyvern flying away, she'll run out and taking one last look just to make sure the kids are still staying put. She's gonna run over to Essie. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. She'll just shake her hand a couple more times and then like grab her musket again. Are you safe? The kids? Everybody's all right?
We're fine. Oh, what was that?
I don't know. It kind of reminded me of when we got to the Amber Crossroads, I had that like weird episode and I don't know what it is. I'll deal with it later, I guess. It helped me out.
While they're
So
having this conversation.
oh yeah, just a quick pause. Right as the wyvern begins flying away, that tail sinks into Silius. The tail sinks into Silius, and you see it like hit into his shoulder, and he stands there for a minute, and then you see him wobble and fall. So
All right.
So
I think-
Zagran sees his friend fall down, and he lets go of Liam Norn. It just kind of vanishes in his hand and runs over, and not having much medical training, but tries to kind of just like shake him and says, Dennis, Dennis, are you there with me? And like just kind of like shaking him, and you can tell he's flustered, but didn't drop the his real name, but almost.
I'll just kind of like put a hand on Kit's like shoulder, and she'll say, "I'm glad you're all right. I gotta go help our new friends out." And I'll start making my way quickly over to where Dalen and Dennis are, and she'll look at Dalen and she'll say, "What's going on? What's wrong with him?"
Well, so you can see pretty easily, like that the spike from the wyvern's tail is embedded in his shoulder, Dennis's shoulder here, and you can see the whole area looks really like puffy, and it looks like a bunch of poison got in there, and Soleus looks like he's dying, or I'm sorry, Dennis looks like he's dying.
I know a little bit about injuries, healing. I don't know if it's gonna help. I don't know if it's gonna help, but I'm just going to like drop down next to him and root through my bag and grab my little like it's a device that's like curled in on itself, and she'll like extend the legs, and it almost looks like a mechanical spider again as she like sinks it in to like either side of the wound, and his claws like retract in, and then a little syringe will come down, and she's going to aid it with magic and cast cure wounds
Okay.
on him. It's not going to help with the poison, but so that's 7 points of healing.
That's enough. That
It's
brings
like
Soleus back to consciousness.
all right.
That brings Soleus back to consciousness. But considering
All right.
considering the context, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. We're just going to go ahead and go on break for a minute, and we'll come back in a few. Sorry about that. Don't mean to cut you off. I just feel like he'll want to be here for this moment. So, folks, if you're watching, sorry, we're experiencing some light technical difficulties. Hooray, internet. And we'll be back in just a minute. All right, now we're actually back. Sorry about that, folks. Let me just help help restore our missing person, and we should be good to go.
You didn't
Mike,
miss
how's
much,
it
you
going?
just died.
Oh, okay.
So let's fill you in a little bit on what happened. Sorry about that. So the wyvern got
Yeah.
you with its tail as you after you hit it, and then it dropped the cow and flew away.
Okay.
Thanks. So it got you with its tail. You rolled a Constitution saving throw, and you passed your Constitution saving throw. So you rolled pretty well. Unfortunately, between the damage from the actual spike and the poison that did get through to you, you went down.
How
and as
much was that?
it was 27 points of damage total.
I'm at 41 though. I have 41 hit points.
Oh, well, I did the math wrong and thought you had 27. I'm sorry about that. Well,
It was flavor. It was for flavor.
it was
Okay.
41 points of damage then. And you went, sorry about that. I won't do that again. My bad. And so you went down, you've been restored, and we're gonna say slight DM cheating. Sorry about that.
You have
but
the
now
pale
I've got the right
ones
numbers.
staring over you right now.
Nice.
Yeah, so between that, so Zagrin and Essie are standing over you as you come back to consciousness.
And my mask
Right.
is still on.
Your mask is still on.
Oh, I should have gotten a look. Should have gotten a look ski.
Zagrin was right there. He would not
Aw.
have let that happen.
I can take it.
Okay.
All right. She's just gonna say this will hurt a little bit, and then she's gonna like wrench she had like this little device that has like spider legs that had clamped onto your injury, and she's just gonna like rip it out. She's gonna be like, it's just like a band-aid. It's all right. And she'll fold it up and like fiddle with it for a second, almost as if she's like restoring it, and then puts it back in her bag.
Yeah. Is the cow all right?
No, it's not.
Unfortunately not, although it didn't get taken away. Still make some use of it.
What of the children?
Kit said they're all fine. I think her and Calamity got them
Right.
mostly away.
And Kit has, since she sees that they have this in hand, she's gone back over to be with Calamity and the kids.
Yeah. So they're like, kids are resilient, right? They're like scared and they're looking around, but things around the camp seem to be like people are starting to look out. There's a big dead wyvern over by the pool, like this really large creature. And yeah, like there's folks that were panicking are now starting to like, get a little bit more organized. You can see people have moved back to their camps and things.
Can I go over to the dead wyvern? And I'd like to actually start harvesting some parts, if at all possible.
Sure.
Couple teeth, and I'd like to take just a couple samples of its blood if I can hack down into that and gather some.
Sure, a couple things. One, Celeste, you've got that thorn or a spike from where the wyvern stuck its tail into you, embedded in your shoulder or whatever. What's this part?
Clavicle?
It's the spot between the head and the shoulders. Remember, it's called the neck.
All right, we're gonna suffer for that one.
I've been learning in therapy how to be better with my anger. So
you said that to me.
Yeah, awesome. I feel like there's a name for this spot, but we're gonna go ahead and just ignore that for now. Yeah. So you've got the little thorn or spike from the wyvern.
Mm.
Does anyone else want to go investigate this wyvern with Essie?
Zagrin will help Soleus up, like offer a hand and just help him to his feet. And then he'll say, "Friend, I'm not sure that being exposed right now, especially after we were slinging all kinds of different abilities around, is in our best interest. I think I might retreat to our tent and try to lay low again."
I was about to say I would meet you back at the tent.
Let's go.
Thanks again.
Always.
I'll help check out the wyvern with Essie.
Or if you'd like, Calamity, and you can entertain the children too, right? Help kind of keep spirits up. So whichever your preference is.
If they're in hand, I'll go over and be with Essie.
Okay, great. So you
Essie
go over.
just has taken a dagger out and she has sliced in and is trying to get some blood out.
Before you go too far, one, there's lots of blood, so no problem. This thing got absolutely messed up, and you shot it a bunch too, so it's got some nice big holes in it. One thing that's worth noting is the wyvern has a collar around its neck. It has a collar that looks like some sort of sophisticated device. Now that you're looking at it, there's clearly some runes inscribed on the collar, and it seems to be made of a very fine material, like metal and cloth and some other materials woven into this thing. This looks like an intricate magical device around this thing's neck.
Is there any way that I can retrieve it off of the body without destroying it completely?
That's a great question. Why don't you just make an effort? So you've got tinkerer's tools, I believe, that you're proficient with. So
I
why
have
don't you try and
Tinkerers,
use your
wood
tinkerer's tools?
carvers, or if there's a different tool that would work better, I can magically make it. So
Tinkerer's tools is probably the right thing to get started with in your case,
and
if you'd
she's
like to
gonna
try and
say,
take this off.
Elspeth Pike, I guarantee you're good at this. So that is going to be 22 total.
You're able to easily and deftly you remove this thing from the neck, and because you succeeded so well as you're looking at it, you get the sense, right, as you're pulling it apart, that it actually had, now as you're pulling it out, there's a ring where it came out, where small needles came from the collar and stuck into this creature's neck. You get the impression this is some sort of control collar. If you'd like later, you can, when you're ready to spend some time, you could dive more, because this is a magical technological device, and you could spend some time digging into this if you'd like to.
There's a moment where she just looks at the needles, and it's almost like she's in a almost kind of sick way admiring the handiwork of this before she kind of catches herself, and she'll just she puts it in her bag of holding to put that away, and she'll just say, something to think about later. I gotta keep doing this for now. But she'll hand a couple files to Kit if she's helping, and just sort of point out certain things that she wants from it, like any teeth she would like. I would love to try to scrape a couple scales off, and the blood is, and if the tail has some of those spikes, I would like to get some of those as well.
Sure, absolutely. If you'd like, if you have medical, if you're proficient in medicine, you may roll to extract some of the wyvern poison.
I am not with medicine, so no.
Okay. Okay.
What are you planning on doing with these items?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do with the right materials, especially blood as a catalyst is real impressive most of the time. I've never had any wyvern blood to mess around with or tinker with, but it's got a lot of properties within it I think might be able to enhance some stuff. And it's always good to not waste. You never know. This might go for a lot of money, even if I don't find a use for it, someone else will.
Is it magic?
Well, wyverns can be at least some sort. Some of them can be magical in nature, but I don't know. It's a good way to study it out, though. You never know until you look into it.
With
All right.
time, you will be able to harvest whatever things you want from this wyvern. So feel free to mark on your character sheet whatever bits you wanted from this thing. Kit, just while you're there and helping her work, you can notice that this thing, you've seen what it is to be emaciated or to have starvation, like the impact on the body, and you can see this thing was starved, right? Like it was a very hungry creature.
Poor thing. It seems like it was hungry. Quite hungry.
There's something else going on here, Kit. And she's gonna look around just to do a general sweep of the area and see if there's anyone in the area that looks like they're watching them.
Yeah.
Or suspicious at all.
Tons of people are watching you, right? Like almost the whole camp, right? Like some people are starting to go about their business, but lots of folks are watching for sure.
We'll talk about it later, she says, as she just like scrapes another scale off of the body and kind of looks around. I'd rather not speak right now about it. And then she's gonna actually kind of glance around for Dalen and Dennis as well.
Dalen and Dennis, you'd headed back to your camp, right? Or Zagreus
Yeah.
and Slayus, pardon me.
Yeah, almost like immediately after we saw that it was safe, helped him back up, and we both just went away without trying to draw any attention to ourselves.
Yeah, if not sneakily.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So a little bit of time passes. I'm sorry. Let me first finish. Kit and Essie, was there anything else that y'all want to do?
Not for me.
Okay. So you'll do the harvest thing. Zagreus and Slayus, anything in particular y'all want to do back at camp?
Sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, rest. It's daytime.
Take the thorn out.
After a couple of hours, we're gonna go with Zagreus and Slayus. There is a outside your tent. You can hear some noise. Your voice goes, "Hello. Are you ready for visitors?"
Who's visiting?
It is I, Brave Light.
I thought so, Mr. Light. Come in.
And you see the tent flap part, and this guy like stoops even lower under your tent, and he comes in and he just takes a knee, and he goes, "My good fellows, I think with all this excitement here at the crossroads, perhaps it is a good time to move, even if we are a little early."
Yes, I'm eager to get this over with, so the sooner the better. I'm understanding our arrangement and willing to guard the caravan. The sooner we can leave certainly gets my vote, so let's hop to it.
Excellent. I would say one more thing. If you have need of it, in my caravan, I have an area where sometimes I put things that I want not to be found by guards. You understand? Should you need it, it is under my rug, and it has room for one, maybe two people, should they be smaller. Yes?
I understand, I think. And Zagan like kind of looks at himself and just how tall and lanky he is and says, "Yes, if we need to hide anyone, we'll keep that in mind. Kind of just scratches his head, even though he's wearing a mask.
Excellent. We will try and leave within an hour or two at the most, while
We'll
there
be
is
ready.
still some daylight.
We'll be ready.
Okay. And he heads off. I take it y'all are going to break camp and get your stuff over? Cool.
Can I get my hit points back?
You can take a short rest for sure. So you had 7 hit
And
points.
I know that, Soleus, you were interested in purchasing a healing potion, but you didn't have the money on you. So
That's right.
while you're breaking down the camp, I'll go over and buy the healing potion and give it to you.
So you could buy
Nice.
2. You could buy 2 for 80 if you're persuasive.
I will certainly haggle.
He's as persuasive as they come.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead and give me a persuasion roll. Get over 12, you'll be able to get 2 for 80. Otherwise, it's 2 for 100.
Friend, with the recent excitement, are you sure that you're going to have many more customers coming through? It's best to unload your inventory while there's still customers. And I
Very
rolled
strong
exactly
argument.
a 12.
Nice. Yeah. It's actually a strong enough argument that I would have taken a 10. Cool. Cool.
And so I'll hold on to 1 and give 1 to Soleus.
Much obliged. Seeing how easy I seem to go down.
I certainly appreciate you putting your body in such danger for my safety. Know that it doesn't go unnoticed, and it certainly is much appreciated.
I would do the same.
Yeah. Oops, sorry about that. That was a bad GM moment. Sorry, everybody. Going back, Kit and Essie, in this time, Brave, again, y'all are at the, I guess, how long are you going to spend at the Wyvern harvesting parts, Essie?
I would say probably at least like 45 minutes ish, and then
Okay.
spend some time like resting, and then get their camp ready to go.
Great. Well, yeah, again, Bravelight comes over and has the same basic conversation with you, maybe even while you're at the Wyvern. Could we perhaps get moving a little sooner?
Of course, we'll get everything packed up and ready to go.
Excellent.
Do you need
I
any
would-
help with does anyone else in the camp need some help cleaning up after the whole debacle?
No, thankfully, we were mostly spared.
All right.
And tonight, we will have beef for dinner.
Oh, that's it's good to make use of that. For a moment, she'll just kind of like put a hand on his shoulder, and she'll say, "I'm sorry about the that wizard and the treatment of your camp. Not everybody from the Empire is like that."
He looks, he goes, as you say. Just moves on.
All right, Kit, we better get everything ready to go.
Oh, I'm glad to be getting on the road, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been an interesting time here.
I was a bit worried when those guards showed up.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal until I figured out who was leading them. Then I thought we might have some trouble.
A friend of yours?
I wouldn't go so far as call her a friend, but an acquaintance for sure. Her family is well, they are, I guess you could say, a big deal in Zadash, but they used to kind of be the only big deal in Zadash, and unfortunately, my family kind of took over a little bit of a reputation that they used to bask in themselves, and the family took it pretty hard. Jasmine didn't like not being the center of attention very much.
Ah, I see.
I think deep down she's probably a good person, but she's got a lot to prove to herself, I guess.
A chip on her shoulder.
When you're constantly overshadowed, I guess it must be tough. I've never felt that way myself, but
Oh, Essie.
Just speaking the truth.
I
I'm sure
know.
there's someone out there smarter and better than me, but I haven't found him yet. And she'll just chuckle and hold out a hand for like the vials and stuff that Kit has gotten. Thanks for the help.
Of course. I'm glad you're okay. I was a bit worried.
Yeah, well, takes more than one bite to take me out, although that tail looked mighty wicked.
Whew. Shall we?
Yeah. Yeah, she'll just go back to the camp and start taking everything down and putting it in her bag of holding.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. So with that, a couple hours are able to pass there at the camp, and you are on the road. So you all have your horses. You can ride horses. They're gonna get move on around early afternoon, right? So it's gonna take a bit for them to get going. But early afternoon, the caravan wagons begin to roll out, and
I
you
don't think I
are.
have my horse.
Oh, right. You don't have your horse anymore. That's true.
Mhm.
Sorry, 3 horses,
I'll be
not
walking next to
not 4.
Zagrin.
Okay. And you can also ride on one of the wagons too. So there's plenty of room on the wagons. People walk, people ride. To make things, you're not going super fast because you're going at the wagon pace,
Mhm.
right?
Zagrin will turn to Selaeus and say, "Seems that you might be equestrianly challenged at the moment. Perhaps you should take my horse, and I will guard our friends by sitting in the wagon."
I wouldn't dream of it. Keep the horse. And
Oh,
from
no,
time
no,
to time, I'll just
I
grab onto the side of the wagon, like
appreciate
run
your comfort
alongside.
there, friend.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I don't mind. I'm like nimble and like spring along the deer.
All right. Yeah, great. Great. So it heads out, and you're able to get a couple hours out from the crossroads before they make camp again. So it's 10 wagons. You've got probably about 8 other horses, and then a not small bunch of cattle coming with. Probably 100 plus head of cattle, a little less with what happened. Um, and that night they stop relatively early, and there's a lot of cooking, and we're able to um, get started. And again, you set up camp, wagons are set around, and dinner starts, or whatever. They start cooking. So you're now in camp for the evening. Folks are able to socialize if you like.
Mhm.
I'd like to.
Essie, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to go up to Kit when Kit is away or alone, and
She's
and talk.
probably like just hanging kind of back from, like, maybe just if there's a fire going, she's just in the shadow outside the light of the fire,
Yeah,
standing.
So from behind you, from another shadow, he would stand there until you noticed him.
Should I roll to notice him?
Yeah, no, I would come out and be like, I couldn't help notice you apprehensive about the guards as well.
You're very observant.
And you're very skilled. Someone so young.
You like to stay in the shadows yourself?
I do. A skill this acquired is either acquired through training or being hunted. Which one are you?
Perhaps a bit of both. What about you?
Indeed. Trained at a young age, I was.
And being hunted?
These are dangerous lands. Dangerous times. As long as there are gods, we will always be hunted.
I suppose that's true.
You need not fear from me, nor my cohort. As long as we are guarding the same caravan, we have the same interests.
Hope so.
In due time. I kind of like slink away.
Just imagining that like gif of that like
And
just
Homer
going
disappearing
yeah,
in the bushes.
into the bushes.
Yeah. Sleep well. Goes alright.
Okay. Back at camp. I see at some point Calamity is just tries to strike up conversation with you. So as you're alone, she goes, so Essie Pike. This is very exciting.
Yeah, you did pretty good getting those reacting and getting those kids to safety. That was a big help. Let me focus on the wyvern and not having to worry about collateral damage. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Of course. She nods at you. She goes, I'm happy to be able to help. Sorry I couldn't be more use against the wyvern, but clearly you had it handled.
That's all right. I think those Dalen and Dennis boys, they helped out a little bit too, but hard to tell in those shadows. Odd having them come out just from the middle of nowhere, but it was a big help.
Yes, they are a little strange, but clearly useful.
Everybody's a little strange in some way or another, I guess. Just kind of depends on what kind of strange and what you're used to.
Right. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Calamity, where do you call home? Where'd you come from?
Well, I grew up in the tillage, just on a
Oh
farm.
yeah, that's right. This is the first time out, right? Like leaving home for long term.
It is. You could say that. I've been away from home now for a while, but I left once and I haven't gone back.
Just wanted to get some adventure, or did something drive you out?
So she goes, well, I wasn't sure what I wanted at first, but now it's really clear to me, and I'm working towards it. And I'm excited to be on an adventure, and very excited to be on an adventure with you.
Well, everywhere I go is bound to be interesting.
No doubt.
Do I get a sense that she truly is just like a fan of my work, or is there some sort of like some information she wants from me?
That's a really good question. Why don't you roll an insight?
Not great. 13. Not terrible, but not great.
She's clearly very interested in you. She doesn't seem to be asking about anything, right? So you don't get the impression that she's asking about anything or digging into anything. But she's very curious about it. You can tell she really wants to come along, right? Like that's a strong thing, right? Now, whether that's because she just doesn't have a group to go with and she's alone and fresh into this, or something else, that's hard to tell.
Well, I think this This caravan's it's in good hands with all of us around, yourself included. I mean, I know you didn't get to fight the Wyvern, but sometimes it's not always the ones that are dealing damage that are the most important to the party. You know, everybody's got their parts to play.
Right. So you intend to go all the way to Eisslecross, is that right?
That's right.
Do you have room in your crew for another?
Well, it's not something I can make that decision on myself. You know, Kit and I we're equal partners in this. So it's something that I'd have to run by her and talk about. But I'm thinking about getting a couple more in the crew to help out. I think it's important to have people you can rely on.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. I'm certainly much less intimidated by the idea of going all the way to Eisslecross with someone like you at my side. If you're open to it, I would love to be along.
Let's on the trip, why don't we spar a little bit? Kind of see what your capabilities are in a fight. How does that sound?
Sounds great. I love it.
Yeah.
And Yantha comes and lands down on her shoulder. She feeds Yantha a little bit of meat from her plate. She goes, and Yantha's happy too, aren't you? She just scratches her under the chin.
Yantha's pretty cool. Where did you is this a familiar or is this like a tamed creature? Can I tell?
You can't at a glance. Like they do seem to have a bond. And you don't see her she's not issuing commands to Yantha. Yantha's just doing things.
How long have you and Yantha been together?
Oh, and she looks over, she goes, Yantha found me when I was lost. And we've been together ever since.
It's nice to have someone at your side.
Smiles. Yes, it is. I've had her back, and if you need it, I'll have yours. I won't keep
I
pressing.
appreciate that.
But we'll be around, and if you want to see what I can do,
I'd love
happy to
to
show you.
test out your capabilities on the road. I know we have gotta protect this caravan, so we can't always cut loose. But I'd like to see what you're capable of. You seem like a pretty
Absolutely.
capable person in general.
Absolutely. Happy to. I've already seen and, of course, read about what you're capable of. So
There's a lot more than meets the eye.
All right. Anyone else have anything they want to do this evening?
Zagrin, as soon as they stop, kind of just goes off by himself, and again trying not to mingle or bring too much attention, not notably absent but also not really engaging with anyone.
Yeah. So in the caravan, now that y'all are out of the crossroads, right, you've got the High Slopes clan, which is again largely Tabaxi folk, right? So it's about 36 folks total here, right? 10 wagons, about 100 cattle, maybe 150, somewhere in that range. You've got the 2 halfling families. You've got a number of Tabaxi families, and you have you have Gracie, who is the one leading most of the cattle work. You have the Selters, which are a human family or a human half-orc family, who seem to be doing a lot of the livestock support work, along with a couple of Tabaxi. So it's not the same atmosphere as the crossroads. It's much more tightly knit, right? And they all seem to be fairly friendly with each other, but also everyone who wants to can just kind of retreat to their wagon and get space. It's not odd for you to retreat to a wagon if you like.
So after we make camp for a while. I would imagine Kit and Essie would get their tent set up at some point. Essie will, she'll talk with people, she'll socialize, but after a while she'll just, kind of tap Kit on the shoulder and she'll say, I got something I need to research for a little while. I'll be in the tent if you need me.
All right.
And then I'm gonna go into the tent and get a little bit of privacy, and I'm gonna bring out that collar, and I'm going to ritually cast identify. So she's gonna her lens is gonna come down, and she almost has this looks like a fantasy microscope almost, and she's gonna set the little pearl in there, and then put the collar underneath, and she's just gonna channel her magic into it, and determine what this thing is, if there's any magical essence to it.
Yeah, it's absolutely a magical device, and it is a control collar, right? Can you roll me an Arcana check?
I would love to. Elspeth Pike, you've got this. Ooh, that's really good. Dirty 20.
Okay, so it is a control collar, right? It would respond to a rod. What you get the sense, going beyond just what it is, but really diving into the inner workings of this thing. This device is like some arcanotech device, right? It is an attempt to build some of the artificing contraptions that you make and folks like your family makes. But this device is actively poorly made, right? Like looking at it, this control collar will fail fast. Like it's got a range of about 40 feet from the control rod. And going beyond that, the control will weaken really quickly, right? This device is clearly like it is a control collar, like you said, but it's a bad one. Like it's crappy. It's not actually shocking to you that the Wyverns would have gotten away because it lacks both the power and the range to control something like a Wyvern, which is somewhat obvious to you. So it looks like whoever was building it isn't a skilled artificer, right? And it looks like the work of someone with a lot of theoretical understanding, but lacking the practical understanding of that intersection between magic and technology.
She'll almost unconsciously roll it around in her hands as she's thinking about it, and she'll say, so did your owner, were they just stupid and lost control, or were they close to the camp?
Certainly you saw the Wyverns move way more than 40 feet within the time you'd seen them, right?
So I would
And at
imagine
any point they were up in the air, they would have been at least 40 feet up in the air.
Kind of a retrospective question. So the one that got away, was it also wearing a collar?
Yeah. I don't know that you would have noticed. Like, you didn't get close to it, and this collar wasn't really noticeable until you got right up to it.
What
So
I
it's
have
possible.
noticed.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
What's your
Yeah,
passive
so
perception, Slayus? Hold on, I'll just
Uh,
look. Don't worry about it. Yeah, absolutely. You would have noticed. You would have seen a collar on this thing. when you were over
Solaeus
there
is basically
hunting.
sitting off to the side of the caravan where Zagrin is still in the corner of his eye. The rest of everyone's in the other corner, his other eye. And he's basically just sitting there playing flute,
Nice. Yeah.
low and slow.
I'm going to make note of the design so that, and just, she's actually going to bring out a sketchbook and sketch the design, and then she's going to spend some time and think about how to improve the range, the magical capability. So she's actually going to just try to, for a while, improve upon the design.
Sure. So you can think of ways you could do it, like in a general sense. Although the materials that this is made with aren't readily available to hand to you. They were somewhat rare materials, and you're also missing the control rod that would go with this collar.
Yeah.
So you'd also need to have a control rod there. So it doesn't seem like it's necessarily very useful, although it's a good set of materials should you want to work on it. And of course, it's a really good example of some good ideas put
Mm-hmm.
into practice poorly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. That's it. Whenever Kit gets back to the tent, she'll wait up for her, and she'll hand off the collar. That was on the Wyvern. It's poorly made. Whoever designed it seemed to have more theoretical knowledge than application capabilities, but that's a control device. Like I said, poorly made with a low range, but someone is out there experimenting on ways of controlling either monsters or folks.
This is like what you do?
Well, I've never made anything specifically like this, but it's unique in that it melds magic with machine. So there's traces of magic on there, of course, but what really makes it stand out is that my family is one of the few that meld magic and machine capabilities, technology. It looks like something we could have made, although not anything that we have actually made in the past.
What do you think it means?
I don't know if it's just someone creating things on the side just because they can, or if it's someone that got contracted to build something for somebody important. Whatever it is, while they're on the right track, I think it'll take them quite some time to refine it in a way that's actually, beneficial to them. Although something with a little less willpower than a wyvern, something that can't run away as fast, might work on that. Humans. I don't know.
Do you think it was someone specifically targeting this caravan?
I've been thinking about that for a while, and we saw, doesn't necessarily have to be two wyverns, but it's, how often do you see two going at? We saw them on our journeys towards the crossroads. I'd imagine it might be the same two, but whatever it is, I think they broke away before they got to the caravan. They were just starving, looking for a meal.
So whatever it is, it's likely not a good thing.
The implications of a device like this in the wrong hands. Can you imagine if someone of greater power was able to put these on real important folk? I mean, you could cause a lot of damage. I know that's a big conspiracy, and it's probably not accurate. Somebody's probably not trying to overtake the empire. That might be a stretch, but in the wrong hands, this could do a lot of damage.
So definitely something to make sure we keep an eye on.
Yeah, if we run into anything like this ever, I think it's probably a real good idea to make note of it. I'll probably send a message back to my parents. They'd like to know if there was something similar to what we make that can do so much damage running around. They might look into it a little bit for me.
Your parents, do they know you're here?
By now, yeah, I left some letters for him. I think Carlos probably handed them off by now. Maybe. He's not the most reliable as far as time. But I didn't tell my father where I was going. He's a little hot-headed. I think he probably would have marched up here right away, but I did let my mother know where I'd be. asked her to keep it from him, but we'll see. Maybe it's a good thing we left a little early. They might be hot on my trail.
You think they'd come after you?
If it was a year ago, I would have said no, but my father's been acting real strange and protective in ways that he never really acted before, and he won't tell me why, and I can't figure it out. So I don't know, he's been acting different. Secretive. It's not like him.
Well, since we are tasked with protecting the caravan, should we take watch tonight?
Yeah, I suppose that's probably beneficial. You want first or second? First or last, I guess? We can't cover all night, but
I think we could perhaps get some help from our cohorts
from Dalen and Dennis.
and Calamity.
That's true. I haven't put a... I don't know if she's innocent or if... I don't... Maybe I'm going crazy. Kid, I just feel like trusting folks might not be the best thing right now.
Well, that's one thing we can agree on.
Yeah. With people after you, and God only knows how many people after Dennis and Dalen, if that is even their names. I think it's just wise to be careful around folks for now. Maybe be not quite so trusting.
I'm certainly on board with that.
All right.
First watch?
Well, I was going to say, with that, why don't we cut over to Zagrin and Selaeus, who are going under the fake names Dennis and Dalen. And
if that is your real names.
Yeah, they're not. Folks, let's move forward a little bit, unless there's anything y'all particularly want to do in camp, and we'll set up for watch, and y'all can tell me who's on first watch and who's on second. And we'll do 2 watches effectively, and we'll cover it up. And Calamity is perfectly happy to go on the rotation.
I'll go in first watch for us.
Are we mixing and matching? Or are we? I think in regards to the paranoia that Essie would just say, I think it would be good to build up a little bit of friendship between our 2 groups here. You mind if I take watch with you?
Not at all.
She looks at Kit before she walks away and she goes, this might be the thing I regret most in my life. And then she'll just patrol the camp, not necessarily always being by Selaeus, but she does not want him awake at night without her or Kit there to monitor a little bit.
Great.
Do you guys want Calamity?
No, I think the 2 of us are probably fine.
Yes, let her sleep.
So the other group will get Calamity? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, we'll take Calamity.
Sure.
All right, so you split up your watches through the night. Just one sec. And your evening passes uneventfully.
A gift for you. Essie.
Is it, oh, well. It's not your more music, right? Not that I mind.
Is there a problem?
No, it's just different than what I'm used to.
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, well.
No, it is something. It is something I found on the Wyvern. I noticed you extracting elements of it. This one lodged in my throat. You may have it. And he hands her the quill.
And she'll kind of laugh and reach out and take it, and she'll say, you really know how to butter a girl up. And then she'll look at it a little bit. You seem to be a pretty perceptive person.
I've been told that.
For how fast you and your companion, Dalen, skedaddled on out of there, I was surprised you even saw Kit and myself working on that wyvern.
Hmm. Yes, sometimes a low profile is best.
Yeah. I'm sure your companion told you about our little conversation. She'll switch to Undercommon a little bit as they speak.
Oh, do I speak Undercommon? Yes. he goes into Undercommon as well.
And she'll say, I don't have anything against you, but not exactly gonna trust too much yet. You don't threaten my companion
Threaten?
in any way.
Why would I do such a thing?
I won't pretend to know all of your motives.
No. None of you are dangerous to me or to my kin.
Well, you're free to have your opinions.
I bid you good evening, Essie.
You as well, Dennis.
Who? Oh, yes, right.
She'll like kind of put a hand on her forehead and she'll say,
Right, Dennis.
Dennis, just a word of advice that when you're trying to remain undercover, maybe you want to work on subtlety a little bit. And she'll just walk away looking at the little quill.
I'm a master at this.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
goes back to his
All right,
tent.
so that's our first watch. Zagrin and Kit. Between you folks and Calamity, y'all can spend more time resting. Anything y'all want to do while you're on watch?
Zagrin will sit up, and I'm assuming that. Do we have a fire going?
Yeah, so there's a big fire in the center of the camp. So a very big fire in which everything else is done. Then in a couple of different caravans, they've got their own little fireplaces in them, right? Like the halfling wagons are like proper houses. It's typically like it's 2 houses per wagon. So there's 2 like halfling house wagons. A couple other wagons seem to have their own little like very nice internal furnishings, including a stove.
So Zagrin will stand by the fire and just kind of be looking out, kind of trying to gauge how both Calamity and Kit are approaching watch.
Kit is definitely she's not sitting still. She's kind of pacing around and looking out into the darkness a lot.
Calamity is actively whittling. So you see her, she's got her little knife, and she's actively whittling and working on some small thing. And you don't see her little fairy dragon. Or sorry, her little dragon floating around.
I saw how well both of you did with the children. I guess that's why they put you on babysitting duty for me. Just tries to like crack a joke and gauge their reaction.
Kit's very distracted. She just kind of looks over, doesn't laugh, and continues looking out into the darkness.
Calamity absolutely laughs and smiles, and she looks over. She goes, I don't know that we're babysitting you, and I'm sorry. I'm not sure we got a chance to meet earlier. I'm Calamity.
Pleasure to meet you. The name's Dalen. Hesitates just a fraction of a second, but then extends
Calamity, just for context, is 2 foot 8 inches tall. So I think up to one of your knees. maybe mid-thigh tops. And she looks
Zagran's
up at
polite.
you.
He doesn't crouch down to talk with her,
Okay.
but he will take a seat
Okay.
by her.
Yeah. So she's sitting there whittling. She goes, so now I'd love to hear a little bit about you. What are you're heading to Icehaven too?
Seems to be the plan, the general direction anyway. There's conflict near the border. I'm sure you've heard by now, and the further away from it, the better, is what I think.
Well, can't get much further than Icehaven, tell you that.
That's it. That's it. What are you working on there?
She looks down. She goes, it's a doll. I'm fashioning a gift for my sister for whenever I see her again.
Thoughtful. How thoughtful.
We'll see. I've tried to make a bunch of these, and none of them have been good enough, but maybe this one will do it.
Anything we need to be concerned about? And he'll just kind of call out to Kit as he realizes he has not been watching.
I don't think so. She'll walk back over and take a seat next to him.
She looks at both of you and she goes, Yantha's looking. And she just keeps whittling. We'll be safe.
Good. I feel safer already.
All right. And let's see. Okay. Kit, do you want to give me a perception check? Kit and Zagran?
Oh, no.
Mm. 17.
All right.
That's 14.
Okay. Yeah, nothing interesting happens and you pass your evening without issue.
Thank you for that.
Sorry, guys. I just like to have y'all roll on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Keep us on our toes.
So with that, the caravan moves back out, and the next day passes uneventfully. As if you like, you can spar with Calamity a little bit. She's clearly a skilled magic user, right? And is able to do some not insignificant cast some not insignificant spells. In spite of her little size, she's got some
Pretty formidable.
Yeah, pretty good abilities, including the ability to just like splash out a big fan of fire in front of her. Fire seems to be her thing.
All right. That's a pretty good element of choice. Got plenty of destructive capabilities there. I like it. Thanks for doing that with me.
You would definitely see Seleus and Zagran off watching, like.
Yeah. So for those of you that are perceptive, again, Calamity is very small. You can see around the sides of her hair. There's some sections where you can see some dragon scales, or some scales on her. Also around her neck. So she wears a jacket and a long sleeve shirt, and around her neck you can see some tattoos near the bottom of her collar that look like they're fairly like not done by a really good tattoo artist, right? They look kind of right word. Primitive.
Stick and poke.
Right? Yes, stick and poke. Yeah, very much so. So they weren't done at some fancy tattoo parlor in Zadash, right? And there's a lot of them around her neck, right? And you can see the same thing on her fingers, like a somewhat faded blue ink all over the place. And other places you see where you can see exposed skin, you see that, or you see those scales. Yeah, and she's always got Yantha around her. Yeah, the next 2 days pass largely without issue. So hold on, let me just mark that.
During like one of those 2 days, maybe even Essie might have asked Kit to do a little like sparring, and she's just gonna try to replicate that shadow like coalescing around her hand, and like it like almost won't work a couple times, and then she'll like do it almost aggressively, and suddenly that like shadow's gonna like coalesce down her arm and make that same like claw-like shadowy figure over her hand for a moment, and then she'll just like let it fade.
For appearances, Zagrin will be out there sometimes with the dagger, just kind of practice stabbing the air. Doesn't seem too good at it, but he's trying.
Very good, Zagrin. I mean, Talon.
Much appreciated, Dennis.
Yeah, that third evening, and it's actually 24th on two. That third evening, you stop and set camp again. Let's get our watch set up. How are we doing this? Let's do 3 watches, because with Calamity, you've got this kind of split up. So a start, a mid, and a end. So who wants what?
I'll try to go with with Dalen.
I'll
She'll
go
just
to the-
We can go first.
Mhm.
Since I
Okay.
got second watch last time, Zagrin would volunteer to go first this time, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you or anything in particular y'all want to do on watch, or otherwise just kind of watch out in the darkness?
Just watch. Essie will be like cleaning her musket and pistol. The pistol will actually be like, she'll have it out on the table and she'll completely have disassembled it and is like cleaning it. The musket's just like right next to her as she's watching the dark, but she's also just kind of watching Zagrin. Almost suspicious of both equally.
Zagrin kind of just points at what she's doing and says, I think you missed a spot.
And it's not possible.
Oh,
Good try though.
You're right, you're much more perceptive than I am, as he like once again kind of forgets he's supposed to be watching the dark and looks around really quick.
For being someone that is volunteering to take watch, I don't think that you've had a whole lot of practice with it. And she'll like snap her gun back into place.
No, as I tried to inform Mr. Light, we were merely intended to be passengers on this journey. However, we did get roped into contributing. And while I have no objection to that generally, I might be a little bit out of my element.
She'll put lights out in the holster and bring out Happy Ending and start doing the process with that one too. So, how in the world have you decided to be an adventurer without ever keeping watch before?
Oh, I believe you may be mistaken. My goal is to have as few adventures as possible on this journey, and so far we've lucked out other than the incident back at the crossroads. Merely a traveler. I don't know if I would do too well with this, and he holds up his dagger again.
Just because you don't have training with that, don't mean you don't have training with something else.
Right, because I stepped in the darkness when I had my weapon, so I don't know that Essie would have seen that. Yeah.
She's real. She's real peeved about it.
You did
Although
blast a big ray of force at that at
that she was
wyvern.
right in front of.
Yeah, so you saw something whiz past your head. Might have been me.
Well, magic can be as deadly as a blade, if not more so.
And you have experience in that realm?
Of course.
I saw you and Calamity exchanging flashes of light amongst one another. And it's impressive, I have to say.
She'll like snap her musket back into place too and like hold it up almost, and then she's gonna fiddle with a little device that she's got on the side, and suddenly like a bayonet shoots out of the end, and then she'll have it retract and she'll say, I'm sort of a jack of all trades when it comes to fighting.
And I'm merely a jack.
We'll see.
All right. Let's see. Your shift passes easily. Who's on midwatch?
I'll go next.
Do you want to go alone or do you want to take Calamity or Slayus?
Silius, I think you're muted.
Yeah, you pick.
I can go with Silius. The two
Yeah.
shadowy figures.
Great.
Doesn't even look like anyone's on watch.
They're both wearing camo.
All right, so you start your watch probably around, not quite midnight. Not quite midnight. And then you begin, watching. Anything y'all want to do while you're there?
I'll just ask, after standing quietly probably for some time, I'll just ask Silius. So how long have you been training for this? You said you've trained quiet?
Yes. When your mother was a child. Before that, even.
Well, I didn't know my mother, so perhaps it's been a while that you've been training. Many years?
Very, very long, yes.
She's gonna look kind of closely at him. How old are you?
Hundreds. The last I checked.
Wow.
Yes. You must understand that it is striking to me as well that someone so young would have such tremendous gifts in the arts of stealth as well.
My gifts were born out of necessity, I think you'd say. To survive.
Ah, hunted.
I guess you could see that. As
What
more-
hunts you, young one?
As it approaches midnight, can I get a perception check out of you folks?
Oh.
We're talking here.
Oh. Is that a plus? 17.
9.
Oh.
So, Kit, you notice it first, but y'all have been heading generally north and west, and in the direction of travel. You can see a light in the sky. And as you begin to pay a little bit more attention, it looks like there is a big fire burning, probably about a mile off.
So when Silius asks what's hunting you, she'll take the opportunity to look over his shoulder and, do you see that? She'll
Sure.
point at the fire. Something burning.
Don't think this gets you out of dodging the question, but yes.
Slayus,
A fire
earlier
in
in the day, you'd heard some of the folks in the caravan talking about stopping at a town, or that y'all would be stopping at a town tomorrow.
The town just so happens to be around that area.
Who's in that direction?
Perhaps Brave Light should be informed.
How far away did you say? Like a mile or less?
Looks like probably at least a mile. Certainly no less.
Okay. Perhaps we should inform and maybe take a scouting team out.
And with that, we're going to actually go on break.
Oh.
No!
Nice.
Okay, folks, so thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to go on about a 10-minute break. So you'll see us again at 2:55 Central Time. Back here, same bat channel, same bat time, and all that stuff.
Oh.
Okay, and we are back. So I'm just going to pause the music for a quick sec. Folks, thank you for waiting through the break. If you were able to, once again, I'm Jason. I'm your game master. You're watching Best Left Buried, episode 6. So we left so far, for a quick recap of the episode for those of you that are here. So far, we started out, our heroes were in the midst of a life or death struggle with some wyverns that ended up killing one of the wyverns and the other got away without a cow. And due to some bad math on the part of this guy, also almost killed Saleus. So, phew, we're lucky that that ended up being no harm, no foul. For the last couple days, the last 3 days, our folks have been on the road. Our heroes have been on the road with the caravan, the High Slopes caravan. And you are moving towards the town of Euros. You expect to be on the road for a couple weeks. You're now about 3 days out from the crossroads and 3-4 days out from the crossroads. And you're camping at night. It's close to midnight. And just now, Kit and Saleus have noticed a fire burning in the direction that you're going, deep in the dark of night. And y'all are getting ready to do something.
We're going to wake up Brave Light, I think, and tell him, unless you want to go check it out.
All right. Well, we'll hop back into the action. Just again, want to say thank you to all of you who are watching. If you enjoy the show, press the little follow button at the bottom. It makes a big difference, and you can catch us on YouTube, social media, all sorts of places, whatever, at Heroes Die Show.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, let's hop right back into the action.
Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kit and Slayus. I'm sorry.
Go check it out before telling anyone.
We are the best equipped to be stealthy.
I'd at least like to tell Essie.
Fair enough.
I'll go shake her awake gently. Essie.
Yeah, she'll almost like immediately like reach a hand out towards her musket and like be sitting up ready to go. What's up?
There's a fire. It's about a mile or so away in the direction of the town that we're headed towards.
Oh, that's not good.
I'd like to go check it out maybe, but do you think we should wake the rest of the caravan yet?
I don't know. I don't see the point in what are they gonna do. I think maybe just the combatants.
Well,
maybe Brave Light.
I'm currently there, waking up Brave Light.
I don't think the whole caravan needs to know, but she'll just like kind of rub the sleep out of her eyes. Maybe Brave Light to know that we've gone off.
All right, you coming with?
I'm not leaving you alone.
In the interim, Saleus, you go and find Brave Light. So he sleeps in one of the caravans. So you knock at the door.
Mr. Light.
Hear some noise, and then the caravan door opens, and Brave Light's in there. He goes, "Yes, is there something we need?"
I just point to the horizon.
And he looks over.
Is that our next destination?
There is a fire of some kind. That is not far from Parfell.
If you like, I can rally a team to go check it out.
If you and the guards leave, what keeps the caravan safe?
Nothing, I suppose.
If we wait, we will go in the morning. We can see what started this fire. Maybe you watch, make sure it does not come closer.
As you wish. And I
Well.
turn.
It is not to me to tell you your business. But I ask whatever happens, keep the safety of this caravan in mind, yes?
Indeed. I follow rules.
Have a good night, then.
Good night. Yeah, and I go back to, I guess, Essie and Kit's tent. Apparently, we wait here.
Brave Light wants us to stay.
Yes. By investigating, we leave the caravan vulnerable.
That's a fair point, but what if there are people in danger?
They might have to fend for themselves, I'm afraid.
Okay. Essie, what do you think?
The caravan is our responsibility, and leaving it. Well, it seems like we're abandoning our responsibilities, but we can help people. It's a horse apiece.
Calamity did say that her little dragon companion could go and keep watch on things. Perhaps there could be a very small scouting party.
That's not a bad idea.
Not sure how far afoot it can go, but
We don't know unless we ask. I'll just walk towards Calamity's tent and... Calamity, hey. Coming in.
So as you say that, you see her, she's like leaned up as you come in, and she's got like a dagger in her hand. And she goes, oh, Essie. Good to see you. Oof.
I'll make
Yeah.
note of that.
Don't do well with being startled. She like laughs a little, puts the knife away.
Me either. I need your help for a minute. Come with me.
Okay. You can feel like you've noticed that when Yantha's around, its emotions like quite literally radiate off it, and you can feel a fair bit of fear as you enter the tent. Move to a fair bit of relief and then some joy.
I was wondering
yeah, of
how
course.
far your companion can fly. There's the next town over that we're supposed to go to, Parfell. Seems like it might be in trouble. It's quite a big fire. I was just wondering if you could have your friends scout out and see if there's anything we could... What's going on?
She looks over at Yantha. She goes, Yantha, would you check? And there's some squeaking and skittering, and Yantha, and she looks at you and she goes, Yantha will go.
All right, that's most appreciated.
She gets up out of her tent and holds out her hand, and Yantha flies off.
How does that work? Can they talk to you in any way, or just have to wait until they get back?
She can tell me when she gets back.
All right.
She'll be far.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're gathered out. You don't have to come out if you don't want to, but we're
No,
kinda
I'm up.
gathered.
I'm up. Give me just a second to grab my things.
Yeah, of
She
course.
starts putting on the rest of her clothing. You can tell now that she's in her nightshirt, the tattoos actually go all the way up her forearm. All the way up her forearms.
Do they, so I know the tattoos are like not well designed or done, obviously not in a professional sense. Do they, are the designs or what she's got tattooed familiar to Essie in any way, or does she understand what they are?
So, give me a sense. Essie has generally spent her life, just so I'm clear, around nobility, around the excavation sites, and things like that. Roll me a history check. That's what we're going to do. Roll me a history check.
On no family now. Oh, that's so good. 26.
So, you had on one dig site, there was one of the diggers had actually not dissimilar tattoos, like similar style. And when questioned about them, like you as a young child, he seemed very reticent to talk. And someone else later told you that that particular miner had spent time in a labor camp, and that in a forced labor camp in the Empire, and that had gotten a lot of the tattoos there. So they look almost like you remember. Now, it's a long time ago. Almost like you remember those labor camp tattoos looking.
Do I know much of anything about the labor camps in the Empire?
Only that there are prisons in the cities, and when there are folks that are taken by local Crown's Guard go to city jails. Folks that, are taken for more special attention, like dissidents, rebels, things like that, they're more likely to find themselves at these labor camps.
Okay, she's not gonna mention it or say anything, but she's gonna clock it and think back, and the fear makes more sense to her, and she'll just say, "I'll wait outside. Sorry to startle you awake."
Cool. Yeah, so she'll come out in a few. Sorry, Zagran, Slays, rest of the folks. What are we up to?
Zagran's sleeping soundly.
Oh.
I mean, technically, Kid and I are still on our second watch here.
All right. Yep.
Yeah, I guess just waiting around and still keeping an eye out, close by.
Okay. So
You have a question to answer, young one.
What was that?
Something hunts you. Do you know not what it is?
I don't, actually. It's actually why I'm on the road.
You've hid from them before, yes?
Hid before. But this is something new.
Perhaps I could be of assistance.
How so?
Well, as I said before, I've been trained. Perhaps I could show you some pointers. And, I could, can I attempt to teach Kit the basics of skulking through shadows?
sure, absolutely.
Yeah. This is how one would hide in plain sight, as it were. In 3 seconds, turn around. Go behind her. Count to 3. I attempt to hide in just a bit of cover. A la Skulker feet.
Alright, I will wait 3 seconds and then turn around.
23. So yeah, hiding basically just Like you could see the light from the fire, from the dim firelight, hiding behind partial covered barrel or whatnot.
You see, it is not whether the light touches you or not.
Blah 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 blah.
Essie's just sitting and watching them, particularly Dennis.
Mhm.
Eyes and whatnot.
After about 20 minutes, Calamity looks over at you, Essie, and she goes, Yantha's scared. Yantha's really scared. She's coming back. I don't know what it is. I'll know more when she gets here.
Thanks. I appreciate the help. Again, I know it. Sorry that Yantha's feeling afraid.
She'll be okay.
She'll
be okay.
She'll just kind of, as Dennis and I mean I can say Seleus, but as Seleus and Kit are doing their thing for a moment, Essie will scoot so that her back is towards Seleus and Kit, and she's kind of blocking their vision from Calamity. And she'll put her musket like over her knees and just kind of fold her hands across it in as non-threatening way as she possibly can. And she'll say, I know it's not really any of my business, but I've seen tattoos like yours before. And I won't ask too many questions because I don't think it's my place. But is associating with you gonna bring harm to me or my companion?
As you say it, so Calamity's like looking around. You start talking and she freezes entirely as you mention her tattoos. Here.
It's alright, I'm not threatening you, and I'm good at keeping secrets. I just want to know if I need to be keeping an eye out on my back, or only the front.
So she goes, there's a history and a reason. Things aren't always what they appear.
She'll put up a hand and she'll say, I understand that, and I'm not casting judgment on you, just to be clear, alright? I know that the Empire's got a history that isn't always something to be proud of, and I know that there can be a lot of fear and paranoia, especially amongst the guards, the Crown's Guard. And I know things aren't always what they seem. I'm just wondering if there's something after you, and how worried we might need to be, how close we need to watch.
I'm not, Essie, I promise you, I'm not wanted. I don't have to hide from guards. No one is looking for me. When I was young, my father and mother were politically active, and sometimes when the Empire comes and takes folks, they don't just take the people they're looking for. But I'm not wanted now.
I appreciate your honesty. And I can promise that I'm not in the mind to be giving up innocent folks. Alright? I just need to have my eyes wide open to know what to expect. I'm not a threat to you as long as you're not a threat to me.
I'm not a liability.
All right. I believe you. And she'll just kind of like, her features and everything will completely relax.
She goes, maybe don't share that with other people, though.
I'm good at keeping secrets.
All right. Thank you.
Of course. And she'll just kind of swing back around and make sure Soleus isn't abducting and or harming Kit in any way. Just
You turn around,
keeping
Kit.
one eye in.
You turn around, Kit and Soleus are nowhere to be seen.
She actually like stands up. Kit?
Kit will just pop around her shoulder, tap on one side.
God's breath. You wanna warn me before you go off? But then she'll switch to Elvin. She'll say, you wanna warn me before you wander off with these folks?
Sorry about that.
Ugh.
Just
Alright.
practicing a bit of hiding techniques, learning from this old man over here.
If you only knew, he says in Elven,
Oh.
and walks back to, I guess, Zagrin took first watch, right?
Yeah, so Zagrin's still sleeping.
Right. So we're still on second watch. There's going to be a third with.
So second watch is nearly done, actually. So it's now well past midnight onto morning, and the fire has definitely gotten brighter. In about 15 more minutes from when Essie and Calamity had their conversation, you see Yantha pull up, and Yantha lands on Calamity's shoulder, and is actually like whimpering a little bit, and you see Calamity like close her eyes, and she goes, she looks over at you, she goes, there are soldiers destroying that town.
Soldiers?
There are
Empire soldiers?
There are giant spiders, and I see drow. I see.
She will
I see,
immediately look at Soleus. What have you done?
Why are you looking at me?
Why are there soldiers from the dynasty tearing up that town?
It sounds like someone I've had a run-in with before. Children of Malice, we call them.
Is anyone still alive in that town to save? She'll say to Calamity.
There were a few minutes ago. It looks like I don't know. They were stringing some up over a tree in the center of town.
They are demon worshippers,
I gotta
and they shouldn't be dealt with immediately.
wake up your
Can I go
companion.
to? Yeah.
We're leaving.
He's doing it. I go over to the tent.
David.
I kind of just like rolling around. Morning already.
Not quite. It would seem the children of Malice have reached this point.
I see. We must act immediately. And quickly just starts gathering his gear, make sure his mask's on.
Away from outside.
Essie, are we going on foot, or are we going to saddle the horses and make haste? We need to take some time to
Calamity.
settle.
Calamity grabs you, and she goes, "There looks like there's more than a dozen, maybe 20 soldiers there. It wasn't a small group."
beyond our capabilities.
I don't know, but should be careful.
What about leaving the caravan by itself? What if there are more?
God's breath. I don't even know if there's anyone to save over there anymore.
Should we perhaps take the caravan and try to avoid them?
I think they'll just keep leaving a trail of destruction if we let them go.
But if we're not strong enough to take them, then what will happen? What will happen to the caravan that we're supposed to protect?
They will die.
Somebody says.
People are dying out there right now.
Indeed. The children of Malos take no prisoners.
As soon as Dalen comes, if he comes out, she will say in Undercommon, she'll say, "Those folks after you, are they following you?"
It'd be a strange tactic to follow me from in front and announce their presence by burning down the city where I would be traveling to. I can't say that they're the best tacticians around, but I would hesitate to assume that I was involved in this.
She'll stare him down for a good 5-10 seconds.
A masked face stares back. No emotion.
There is no need for this. They are vile. Life is their enemy.
You can
What time of day
guarantee-
is it? Muted.
It's somewhere between midnight and 3 in the morning. Sorry, guys.
Well, if it is in fact the children of Malice, I would venture to guess they won't be doing too much once the sun is above us. However, that factors into your calculation. They don't do well in the sunlight.
Shall we wait?
If we stay put, perhaps we'll be safer. If we wait till daytime to travel.
Or wait till daytime to attack?
How strong are their forces? A dozen? 20?
It's unclear. She only gets snippets, but
Yeah.
I can see, I don't know. There's a bunch of those spiders. There's drow. There's some like weird large figures. They don't look furry. Hard to explain. They look like men, but furry.
Like the
That's what I
tabaxi? Or like something else?
No.
Dalen? Dennis, you have any insight on what that might be?
A number of different folks have fur. I can't say that with that description alone, it doesn't narrow down.
Come, Dalen. Can Yantha show you something?
Of course. However I can help.
Yantha flies over to you and lands, and you get an image, very clear image of in your head of this figure. So you see this tree, right? This large tree in the center of town, and there's a number of bodies already hanging from it, and another group of looks like villagers, not far, some alive, some dead. And you see this drow woman in the center, wearing very fine clothing, very fine armor, and a prominent symbol of Loth on her. And you also see beside her this very large, probably 6'4", somewhere in there, much larger, heavily muscled, plate mail wearing hobgoblin with black fur and black eyes.
Zagarnol, once the vision subsides, I look to the party and just say, well, I can confirm that it is in fact the Children of Malice, and they seem to have some hobgoblins in tow. Not unusual for them, but they can handle the sunlight a little bit better than their drow companions, so I'm not sure that waiting it out would simply have all of them retreat. Maybe that they're trying to secure the village and then have the hobgoblins be there during the day to protect the rest of the forces, if I were to hazard a guess.
What say you, Dalen?
Well, the safety of our travels is my top priority. I'm not sure what keeps us safer, is trying to travel with the entire caravan or sending us out to at least see what it might be we're up against and maybe have a diversion. I'm not sure that there's an alternative path that all of us, and kind of looks at the sleeping caravans with the cattle and all the different wagons. I'm not sure all of us could travel in some side road to still make it to our destination. If we want to continue, perhaps at least getting the information would be best. He looks to Calamity. So she can, pointing to her dragon companion, she can communicate messages like that. Perhaps you wait here. If anything comes for the caravan, you send your friend to find us, and will you take that as a sign that we need to head back? And we can travel up ahead and at least scout out what it is we might be up against, and while we're there, look for any alternative paths that the whole caravan might be able to travel.
She looks at you, and she looks over at Essie, and she goes, if you're going to do something about this, I'm coming.
I don't know if...
I'm small, but I'll burn those plague-touched bastards.
If there's no one left alive, it's not worth our lives to get a little revenge. But... who's to say they're not coming for us next anyway?
Would it be wise to follow the head of this snake and chop it off in the day when it's weakest?
I think you have a point, friend. If they have numbers on their side and we go in without any advantage, we're certainly going to be doomed. However, if we wait until they at least have something going against them, then perhaps that will help us combat their numbers.
I guess the point now is, do we avoid or do we strike?
Dagger just looks towards his companions. Well, I know that us debating this won't solve any of our problems and only allows them to keep doing what they're doing and fortify more. I'm not suggesting what decision we make, but I am suggesting that we make one soon. After all, we're losing valuable sleeping time.
Zagan, roll me a history check real quick.
When he says valuable sleeping time, Essie will actually just shoot him like daggers. Like she looks not happy at that comment.
Just shoot him. Period.
Did you get a 10 there, Zagan?
10.
Is that what you got? Okay. So this isn't super familiar, right? But general, what you remember from your experience as a military person back when that used to be what you do, right? When you were a drow, right, raiding the surface from underneath, right? It was common to do more hit and run style stuff, right? So it seems more likely that if they're doing this kind of thing, it's something that they'd kind of set a camp, go raid out from the camp, and go back, kind of deal.
So they have an empty camp somewhere.
I believe that it's unlikely for them to maintain this sort of activity indefinitely. As the sun rises, I imagine they'll retreat back to wherever they're fortified up and probably plan out their next attack. I know that does very little for the town that they've just encountered. However, I'm not sure that there's much we would be able to do at this point. As I said, we need to make sure we are strategic about this, and charging into something when they have all of the advantages, just, I don't know if it's the wisest move.
So it looks like we should perhaps get some rest, and then in the morning go try to sneak up on the camp.
Yes, I think that if we're more prepared and with the sunlight, they won't be as difficult adversaries to overcome. At least that's the hope.
Yeah, we know that rest is important.
Now, I think it's at least worth noting that
She'll just walk
drow
away.
don't sleep.
Should just walk away. Back towards our tent.
All right, are we finishing out the night here with the caravan?
Yeah.
All right. So we finish out the night with the caravan. Calamity stays up to take the last watch. Calamity stays up to take the last watch, and you begin moving out again the next day. You begin moving out the next day.
We informed Bravelight about
Yeah.
everything we've figured out. It's like these aren't normal raiders. These are demon worshipping.
Be on high
Drow.
alert. Like, children should be in the wagons. Don't let them wander. Just all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Okay.
And as we're riding, I'm very much like, if any kid tries to jump off the wagon, I'm ushering them back in. Just trying to maintain some semblance of order and accountability.
Are we getting a party together to go out?
I was gonna say, are y'all gonna ride up ahead? You could borrow another horse if you want.
I think we probably would.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah. Something happened to my horse.
Should we go on
Slowly
horseback,
time.
or should we try to be quiet on foot?
Maybe get a little bit of distance on
Mhm.
horse and then hop off, but that way we're well in front of the caravan and they're not right behind us by us little time.
Good point.
That's right.
Yeah, and Calamity can wake you up like crack of dawn, so you can get going far before the caravan gets going. Is that
Perfect.
useful?
Mhm.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so crack of dawn, you start riding and you head out towards things. So you can see from a distance now in the morning a little bit of smoke curling up from the town, or from what was the town. Once again, the town of Parfeld. It's a small nothing stop between. Well, there's a bunch of like little towns in this area. You're kind of in the heart of the empire, right? And so as you get closer, you can see smoke rising up, and you're able to stop and leave your horses, at the edge of the wood, not far from town. And you can see even from here, big cleared fields with lots of farming. The fields look to have been burnt. The town itself has been put to the torch. The only a couple of the structures are still standing, but are looking like they're in bad shape. There's some stone chimneys. There was one large structure in town. Looks like it was a church or a temple of some variety. And the temple looks like the door. One of the doors is busted off. It's been burned, but it's a stone structure. And again, you can see the tree in the center of town.
Could we advise the caravan to just go right past this town?
Yeah, well, the road runs right through it, right? So
Yeah.
they can go a little off to the side, but yeah, that's about.
This one's a write-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll carefully approach.
All right. Can I get a stealth check from everybody as y'all try and sneak in?
Elspeth Pike, you're guaranteed to do well with this.
Zagrin got an 8.
26.
Natural 1. For a total of 10.
It's early, guys.
Oh my gosh, 27.
So 27, 26, 10, and 8. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That dice is going into the dice jail.
Oh, all right. So you get into town. As you get closer, right? Yeah, things look pretty bad. Let's see. Things look pretty bad. In the center, you can see a couple places. Looks like villagers have been killed and have been left out. Right? Some of them looked like they were killed quite badly, right? Or potentially slowly. There's a number of villagers in the center, probably 8 bodies strung up from this tree in the center of town. And there's some detritus and some rubble. And again, it looks like there was a really brutal massacre that occurred here. As you're going, not far from the temple, there is a body laying there that looks to be Zagrin and Slayus. This is a Kryn Dynasty soldier. They are in traditional Kryn Dynasty armor or whatever, Aurora Watch armor, and they're laying there dead. But that looks like the only dead of the raiders that you can see.
The Children of Malice devotee?
No. Well, who knows? But they're wearing the dynasty or the armor of the Aurora Watch. Remember, when you fought the Children of Malice, they were wearing standard armor, and Zagrin, when you saw that image, the drow woman was wearing standard armor. Like they don't wear the Aurora Watch armor. This person is wearing the armor dead on of the Aurora Watch, like that chitin armor that your soldiers wear.
Mhm.
I'm going to immediately, if I have to climb up the tree, I'm going to start cutting down bodies.
Okay. Yeah, so you can do it like they're pegged into parts of the tree lower, so it's easy to begin cutting them down. Easy, maybe the wrong word. It's possible and not a challenge physically. Or it's not a challenge to cut them down. Although lowering them slowly versus just letting them fall would be much more difficult.
I am going to try to do it gently, like respectfully.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to take you some time.
Body.
Zagrin, are you helping with that?
Yes.
All right, you
I'll
want
help
to?
as well.
Okay. So one
I'm
of y'all
helping
roll me.
Essie.
Oh, great. Okay. So one of y'all roll me an investigation with advantage.
Go for it.
Who? Me?
Yep.
16?
16. Yeah. The corpse, when you touch it, is cold, but is also somewhat light, and it feels somewhat hard, almost as if this body was dead prior to last night. Maybe it's been dead for a week or two. And there is all the clear identifying marks of a Kryn Dynasty soldier here.
They're being framed, it would seem.
Yes, anyone wants this war to continue, the Children of Malice must like that the Dynasty resources are being aimed at a larger threat. To keep the war and the war drums beating would absolutely further their agenda. Can't say that I'm surprised. And Zagran would be, especially when Dennis and him are away from the others, speaking in Undercommon in case people are listening in. I think that perhaps we don't share this with the others. I'm not sure that they would understand that these were not the culprits. When I saw the images, the attackers were not dressed in this sort of attire, and in fact I did see the symbol of loath on what I assumed to be their leader. Clearly a frame job, but I'm not sure if I could persuade the others to believe it. They're already quick to judge the drow.
Aye. What do we do with this sad soul?
I believe that we should, and I'll actually speak in common and sort of call out, we'll help clear the area, and then sort of look to Solaeus and just say, let's move this out of here. Just like grab the arms.
Yeah. Grab the legs.
So where are you looking to move them to, right? So you've got, probably around here, there's probably 30, 40 bodies. Y'all could, if you want to spend all day, you could reasonably build a funeral pyre and begin burning bodies. You could, if you had the caravan stop, y'all could dig a big mass grave and toss folks in, or I don't know what you're all thinking.
I think we should not linger. If we want to protect the caravan, we should probably move on as quickly as possible and try to track the movements.
I will, at the very least, any bodies that are strung up, I will cut down. Any of the bodies that have fallen, I will at least place in like a respectful, like I'll lay them flat, I'll cross their arms over their chest to make them look at least respected. And she is going to just like kind of dip ahead at each one, and she'll just say, rest easy, friend. As she goes around and just tries to at least give them some respect in death.
In the interest of, because there's more of a time constraint, Zagran will beckon Essie and just say, I believe you're entitled to an explanation. Come, look at this.
She'll give him a hard look, but she'll walk over. What am I looking at?
To clarify, Calamity's not here, correct?
Calamity is there with you. Well, unless y'all left her behind. She was coming with you.
No,
No,
I wasn't sure. Is she with us?
Yeah, I think she came with us.
Okay, I'll beckon Calamity over as well, and say, I believe it's, at first I was going to conceal this, but I believe it's best to get ahead of any sort of scandal. And he'll motion, take a look at this body, and you've been inspecting several around here of the poor folks who lost their lives, and I think you'll notice a difference in this.
Obviously been dead for a while.
That's it. So
Calamity
why
goes,
would
also it's a drow soldier.
Yes, but pay attention to the difference in the state of decay. I think you will note that it is much more advanced. So why would a body be planted at a raid? It's clearly a frame job. Now,
All right.
Calamity, you were privy to the images from your companion, correct?
Yes.
And I'm asking for you to verify that this was not the garb of the folks doing the raiding last night in those images. Is that fair to say?
Yes. Yes, it is. How
So
do you
as
know
you
so
can,
much about these people?
I saw the images yesterday, and I'm rather astute at picking up indifferences. I'm a bit of a fashion icon. What can I say? And like points out his weird mask and like his weird clothes, and just say, people's attire always catches my attention, and there seems to be something here. I'm not sure who would do this, although the children of malice would want to incite a war, and this might be the perfect opportunity. Is go to the heart of the Empire, plant a dead soldier, and, well, it's a haversack ruse if I've ever seen one.
Do I know how the war, like why it was announced? Like what specifically started it?
The word in the Empire is that, the hordes from the Kryn dynasty attacked unprovoked, and they are coming over so that they can kill people, drink their blood, various, it's bloodthirsty foreign invaders, and they're just brutal baby killers, and they're looking to,
So
whatever.
So she'll look at Zagrin and she'll say, "So you're trying to tell me that the war might have started due to a civil war within the dynasty?"
Well, I don't try to pass myself off as someone who understands international relations. It's a little bit different than fashion. So I don't hazard to guess why the war might have started or what motives any side has. I do know that this individual was not a raider. I can say that with confidence. And his appearance here would certainly say to me that someone wanted him to be discovered. If you notice, during a massacre such as this, it would be quite alarming if there was one casualty on the side of the raiders, a sole casualty. I'd venture to guess that these folks seem rather fit. I believe that they probably claimed at least a few of the raiders' lives. Those bodies were probably taken, and this one left in its stead. The motivation I'm clueless on, but I can at least say I'm confident that that's what occurred.
Well, if what you say is true, then I suppose it would be prudent to get rid of this body. But that's asking for a whole lot of trust.
Well, I think that we've at least arrived that this person, predeceased anyone else here, something is afoot. The motives are almost irrelevant other than to know that deception is occurring. Can we at least agree on that much?
The timeline doesn't match up to anything else. I'll admit to that. All right. Well, get rid of this body. And then what?
Well, I would hazard to guess that they are not immediately nearby. Probably not far, but I'm not sure that spending the time combing the nearby area to try to find their camp would be fruitful. Not to mention that they probably outnumber us, I think it's safe to say. I would imagine that continuing on, remaining cautious, and continuing towards our destination where there might be more civilization that would ward against such attacks.
All right.
I'm going to pause on you two for a quick sec. Kit and Saleus, is there anything in particular y'all want to look around at or investigate?
Kit would be definitely looking around to see if anybody had survived.
Yeah, great call. So there's most of the buildings are burned out, right? Mostly were largely wood, but the church would be a good place, or sorry, the temple would be a good place to check for something like that.
This is a temple of what? Or would I know?
You'd have to go in to know more. There's nothing obvious from the outside, and again, the whole thing has been somewhat burned.
All right, I kind of I got Kit's 6.
Okay.
Does that work?
She'll make eye contact and then kind of jerk her head towards the temple. and head over there and just looking around to see if there's any sign of anybody.
Yeah. So as you go into the temple, it does look like a number of folks were killed in here, right? And then the place was burned. It looks like this is a temple to Erathis. Erathis, which is god of law and peace. Like this was a very holy place. A very holy place. Do you want to investigate around the temple? Maybe look for things? Can I get an investigative check?
I will.
And you can do it with advantage if Soleus is aiding you.
I am.
Oh. Well, I rolled a natural 20 and
Pretty good. Hard to beat that one.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
20,
got a 10.
24.
Great. So, Kit, you do note not far from the altar there is, especially it's much easier to see now that the area's been burned, but there's a section of the floor where it looks like there's a secret trapdoor.
Okay, so she'll spot this and then get Soleus's attention and point at it, and I think there might be some chance of survivors. Could you help me? And she'll try to lift the door, and as she's doing it, she'll just say, "We're not here to hurt you. We've come to see if there's any survivors, so don't be afraid."
All right, so you lift the trapdoor, and as you do so, you hear the distinctive click of a trap mechanism.
Mm.
Go
Oh
off.
man.
But it looks like as you open it,
A trap door.
as you open it, you can see that the actual there was a little crossbow positioned to fire right into where you'd opened. But
Oh.
it looks like the fire damaged it to the point where the string snapped, and so it was unable to fire.
That's good.
Trapception.
Next
Oh.
time, give it a quick check.
Normally I do. I think I'm just a little shaken off my game. Is there
Okay,
anyone inside?
So you open the door and you see it a little ladder going down, but just darkness down there.
I can see in the darkness.
Oh, great. So it's stone walls, and it looks like there's a small hole. You'd have to go down. You have to go down 10 feet to actually get into this area. It looks like there's a little hole down there, but there's no light at all. And if you listen quietly, roll me a perception check.
Uh, 13.
13. Listen quietly. You hear nothing.
17.
It's totally silent. You hear nothing. Totally silent.
She'll whisper. Or I'll whisper. I'll just say quietly. Is anyone down there? Can you hear?
I rolled a 17 for perception.
Yeah. Nothing. You hear nothing.
Yeah.
And again, nothing
No
responds back.
response. I'll look at Soleus.
Do you have my back?
I do.
I trust you.
I jumped down.
Oh.
I feel like Soleus might not be the face they want to see like right now.
All
Would be a good idea.
right. Give me an acrobatics. Let's see how you land.
I
Need
also
a
have,
15, and you'll take no damage.
I also have slow fall. Just
Oh,
so
great.
you know.
Oh yeah, you're a monk.
I'll jump down as well.
25.
All right. Same for you, Kit. Beat a 15 to not take damage.
Definitely. That's a 21.
Great. Okay. So you'll both land down there. Small room.
Superhero pose.
Some inscriptions on the wall. It's dark in here. It's pretty small, probably a 10 by 10. It looks like there's some spots for water, and then in one corner is a chest. Looks like it's a
And-
chest carved out of stone, and placed down there. Otherwise, it's dirt floor down here.
And no one in here.
No one in here.
Is the chest big enough to hold a person inside of it?
It'd be small.
Okay. I'll go over to the chest. Check it for traps.
Now, do you want to create some kind of light or add some kind of light? Because you will, like, even with dark vision, the low light and the dim light from your dark vision is not sufficient to really get a sense of detail.
I don't have any way to make light.
I do.
Blaze?
I can just take out a little stone, squeeze it, and it'll glow slightly.
Yeah,
That's
great.
handy.
As he does this, Kit, you notice that on the walls is a lot of things are written in Thieves' Cant.
Ooh.
I do not
What is
understand
it?
this language.
What does it say?
So it looks like there's a bunch of like initials and check-ins or code names and check-ins and checkouts with dates. It looks like the last time this was marked with a check-in was about 20 years ago.
Wow.
You also see clear references to an old crime gang that used to be really dominant in the Empire called the Myriad.
And I know about this. The
You
Myriad.
know about the old gang. So that was like the big organized crime syndicate way back. But they were all wiped out, I think, 20, 50 years ago.
I'll say to Seleus, I know this writing. It's that's what thieves use to communicate with each other.
What does it say?
It's just a bunch of check-ins, but it's old, 20 years or so, and it's from an old gang. But I don't think they're together anymore. I'd like to go check the chest
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
definitely check it for traps before.
Absolutely. Give me an investigative check.
Oh, 21.
Great. You're actually fairly certain that it is trapped. But noticing it, you are able to use thieves' tools to disarm it.
Okay.
So you're able to
Oh.
disarm the trap in the chest. But we're going to pause y'all here before we open it and see what's up. Essie and Zagran, let's go back. Y'all are talking about what?
Do you suggest we burn the body, or I don't know customs of the dynasty? I don't know if you have that knowledge at all. Actually, I actually probably would have knowledge of what they do with bodies in the dynasty. Would I know if they burn them or?
Well, we can't be certain that this was a member of the dynasty. After all, there are drow on both the Children of Malice side as well as the dynasty side. It wouldn't surprise me if they used one of their own dead in the armor of one of the dynasty members. Not to mention that custom changes when you're so far away from the dynasty borders. Growing up on the border myself, as I stated, I would see their demeanor changes when they crossed over into the Empire line. There's not much rights for soldiers when they're dying in battle so far away from home, let's say. Any sort of custom will do for this fella. And may he always head towards the light. And just kind of like look at the body.
Well, then I think that we should dispose of it in some way.
I agree, and perhaps
Is,
taking the armor.
As y'all are having that conversation, Calamity comes up to you and she goes, I don't mean to alarm, but Yantha says there's some folks watching us from the woodline.
Zagrin summons.
And with
Leonor.
that, we're actually done for
No!
today.
Don't
That's
do
the end
that.
of episode 6.
Jason,
Every time.
how could you? Oh my gosh.
Every time. He gets us every time.
Wow.
Okay.
That last half hour. Whew.
I was
God.
devastation. Oh, poor people.
Folks,
Man.
for those watching, really appreciate y'all sticking with us through this episode 6 of Best Left Buried. Please join us next Saturday from 1 to 4 Central Time here on Twitch for episode 7. We'll see who's watching from the woodline, what's in the chest, what are they going to do about this body.
Can we do it tomorrow instead? I don't want to
Right
wait.
now. Going.
All right, folks. Really appreciate your watching. Thank you so much. I had a great time, and I hope y'all did as well.
Thank you for